Okay, well, just some random thoughts. Because the first thing is, want to thank Tripod Man 21. I think it was 21. Well, whatever the number is. Anyway, I post a link right over there. Response video, and I'm not going to say nice things about the kid just because he said nice things about me, or nasty things about the Amazing Atheist. He's a kid, and he's thoughtful, and that's always a nice thing to see. And so I thought this maybe, I have blocked 1,500 people. So if there are anybody, if any of those 1,500 are still sneaking over here to take a look at my videos now and then, and you want to get unblocked, then subscribe to that kid, okay? If you subscribe to that kid, I'll unblock you. Or Darwin's hamster. So I'll put his link over there too. So if you subscribe to either of those two, I'll automatically unblock you, and I try not to block you again, but I can't promise anything. But I will regularly go through their subscriptions and unblock anybody I have blocked periodically. So it's always it'll be a get out of jail free card, basically. So if I get angry at you and I block you, and you want to get unblocked, that's the way to get unblocked. So in the second subject I want to tackle, which is probably going to piss off the kid because this is not a good subject for a theist, is suicide. And as a response to True North. And he asked the question why, and everybody always does that. I don't want to make a cliche out of it, and I don't want to say anything to disrespect your sincere pain, because suicide does cause people pain, but death causes people pain, and that's probably has more to do with it than anything else, because it got me to thinking a little. And so I was thinking about, I know some people close to me, and people have died, and it's been unpleasant and all the rest of it. But the irony is that there's this dependency people have, and like in one case, a person died, I thought, incredibly well. I mean, no severe pain, no cancer. I mean, they sort of did lose their mind, just sort of drifted away, sort of went into a semi-catonic state. They'd be conscious, a half hour a day, so and they wouldn't be really there. They would just be a person, but they really weren't, too with it. But no real agony, and it took a few months, and then the person just, finally succumbed. And to me, it was, well, yeah, if you got to go, that's the way to go. It's, it wasn't so bad. But there was all this grief, all this can't get over it kind of stuff. And in another case, the person is dying tediously slowly, horribly, and there's like, that can be tolerated. That's all acceptable. And there, there's no, because they're still here, they're clinging to something, and it's like they're more comfortable with the person here in pain than they are with a person who just has a graceful end and is not in pain. And that's sort of the complexity here, is that we're driven by our own dependencies, our own want for things. And I don't want to trivialize things by bringing up a cat or anything like that. I've taken care of a lot of cats in my life, and buried about 50 of them, I'd say. And you remember each story in your head, and it's so irritating because the bad endings are impossible to get out of your head, and they tarnish the whole relationship with that animal in a way. Because you never get past it. You're never able to enjoy memories of the cat without this horrible veil of bad, draped over it. And I hate that. I hate that a life is defined by some one event like that, some bad ending. And suicide is for a theist it's one thing. For an atheist, it's got to be a little bit different, just because we understand we're all going to die, and it's just a matter of time. And time, how much time a person needs to live, is all perception. It's all in your own attitude. I mean, if you're done, if you're completed, okay, well then you can go. If you're in pain and you're horribly uncomfortable, well, maybe it's only temporary, maybe it's something you can get past, but who's to decide how much time or how much investment in that pain you're going to make? That person has to make. I mean, shall they suffer for 5 years before they're finally able to tolerate living? I mean, they might even live happy, they're just going to be able to tolerate it. I mean, I'll say I'll be quite honest. I mean, I would be dead now. If it wasn't for the fact that I realized there's no escaping the human condition. Yeah, I could kill myself, but human consciousness is still going to be here. I don't believe in direct reincarnation. I don't believe I'm going to die and be reincarnated into another human being. I've made the point that because these other human beings are equal to me, there will be another human being similar to me, and he's going to have this kernel of consciousness in him. He's going to be just as alive as I am this very moment. And so there is no escape, really, realistically. You can't just kill yourself and be free of it. And I mean, so that realization says, okay, well, then if I'm still here, I can fix something, I can change something, I can make the life better for that person in the future. And if I can accomplish that, well, that's pretty good. And so that's my objective. But life for me personally is just, sorry, it just doesn't cut it. It has beautiful, I mean, I'm passionate about beauty. I'm passionate about a lot of things. But, the whole package just isn't good enough. I mean, and I know there's people out there going to commit suicide because they get a pimple. I mean, their standards are bizarre. But that's really, once you start making those judgments about what a person is allowed to be offended by, I mean, there's no way to do it. There's no successful way to do it, because your definition of pain could be, you have no idea what they might be experiencing. I mean, I've used this example before, and I might as well use it again. I had toothaches when I was a kid. I have rotten teeth. Whatever. And so you have one level of understanding of what a toothache is. But then when my wisdom teeth came in and broke other teeth, and it was just, a nightmare, then I knew what real toothache was. I had no idea until I was 30-something years old what a real toothache was. And it was shocking, that you didn't realize that there's this whole other level of pain that exists in the universe, because you thought you had experienced life and you knew what pain was. And so it's always very presumptuous of us to look at somebody else and say, oh, you just gotta buck up, you just gotta, pull up your bootstraps and and make some kind of bullshit rhetoric, because you have no idea what they are actually experiencing. It's really not for you to judge what their pain feels like. You just can't do it. And so you have to take it for face value. And if somebody says they're in pain, you have to accept that. And so again, I'm running out of time, so I'll get to the why part. Unfortunately, people don't get to know why, because people who commit suicide often don't even want to talk to anybody, because they know what they're going to hear. And they hear the same platitudes, just blah, blah, blah. Oh, you got to live because, well, you got to live. That's why. Because you got to live. Because you have to live. Because you don't really, you can't not live. You really have to live. I mean, it's, there's no logic behind it. It's just this statement, you have to live because, we'll be sad if you're not here. Well, gee, I like you, but I'm not going to live for you, And it's almost like inviting guilt. Why would you go to, invite it? Just say, oh, yes, try to dump some guilt on me, so I'll stay. I mean, that's bullshit. Or try to humiliate me and call me a coward, and, try to get me to stay. Well, that's bullshit. So people don't talk about it, because they know they're going to get crap. And so running out of time. So that's probably enough. So until next time.